Welcome to part 2 of the Club Officers Training. I'm Ryan Bradshaw, Assistant Director for Club Sports here at George Mason University. This module will be broken into 2 parts as we have a lot of info to cover in this section. Part A will cover everything related to travel, while Part B will cover booking facilities on and off campus and hosting home events. A reminder that all of the info in this training can also be found in the Club Sports Manual. Anytime your club is involved in an event or an activity, on or off campus, other than a simple meeting, you need to obtain written permission in advance. This is very important. If the club sports office does not know about the event, the participants of your club are not covered under our catastrophic injury policy. This is as per the policy's requirements. So how do you obtain written permission? Well, there's a few ways. For on-campus events, if you have reserved the facility space from the club sports office for a practice, game, tournament, or other event, and you can see the reservation on the online facility schedule on the website, or have confirmation email from the club sports office, you officially have written permission at that point. Go to clubsports.gmu.edu to find the online facility schedule. For off-campus events, the act of submitting a travel request form at least 48 hours prior to departure and having the form approved on the website equals written permission. For other off-campus home events, make sure you email the club sports office with the date, time, and location at least 48 hours in advance of the event. Prior to any travel over 30 miles from the Fairfax campus, a travel request form must be submitted and approved through IM Leagues. This must be done at least 48 hours in advance of your departure. For all activities in non-recreation facilities under 30 miles away from the Fairfax campus, including home and or away games, clubs must inform the club sports office of the event location, date, time, and opponent by email at least 48 hours in advance of the activity start time. Let's go over submitting your travel request form on IM Leagues. From your homepage, click on the Forms tab. This will bring up a list of all of your forms. Scroll down the list until you found your travel itinerary form. Click on it, and this will bring up a new form. Start by entering your club's name, the person completing the form, that would typically be you, your phone number and email. Contact for the trip, this would not be you if you are not traveling with the group, so whoever is going to be the primary contact for the trip, make sure their name and their cell phone number is here. Reason why you're traveling for the game. Date of departure for campus, so we're leaving on September 12th at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're leaving from the RAC building and we plan to arrive at our destination at 10 o'clock in the morning. Please include the exact street address of the destination and then when you plan to come back to campus. Host institution and a contact at that institution. So University of Maryland, and my contact there is Jason Hess, and then put down his contact info. Location of the competitions, again, don't just put field at University of Maryland. Put the actual name of the building or the field site and the street address. This is important for you to know, so in case there's an emergency, you know where to have EMS or the police come to. It also will help us in case we need to find you in the event of an emergency. Dates of the competition, if there's more than one, list all of them, times of the competitions, and who you plan to play. So how are you traveling? If it's personal vehicle, please list the driver and then the occupants of each car. Reason we need to know is if there's an accident or if something happens, we know automatically who's traveling in that car and who we need to be concerned for. So driver, I put Ryan Bradshaw as the driver, and in that car we have Marissa Vault and Paul Bazzano, and those can be the occupants. This also serves as your travel list of who's traveling on the trip for you. You can put up to 6 different cars. If you need to add more individuals, put them down in the other comments at the bottom. If you're taking a rental car, where you're getting the rental car from, who the drivers are, what type of car vans you're going to be having or vehicles. You could also walk, you could take a train, a bus, you could fly. If you're taking a flight, everyone's individual flight information needs to be there. So if people are taking multiple flights, please include what airline, the flight number, and the time the flight is scheduled to be leaving at. There's not enough room here. You can send that also in an email. Staying at a hotel, include the hotel name, whose name the reservation is under, the confirmation number when you're checking in, checking out, address of the hotel, and then most importantly, who's staying in each room. We need to know this, again, in case there's an emergency and something happens, there's a fire at the hotel, we can quickly identify that, room 212 had a fire, and in that room we had these 3 people staying there, and we can, be proactive and aware of their safety right away. This also can help you in case some of your members are negligent and cause damage to the hotel. You know who was staying in that room, and you can go back and kind of seek damages from them after the fact. Other than that, click through that you have read and you understand all the travel policies and the safety recommendations, and submit the document.
If you need a hotel for your trip, start by looking for hotels in the area you plan to travel. Look at rates, and remember that as a Commonwealth of Virginia entity, there are typically limits as to how much we can spend per night. Unfortunately, that means I don't really foresee many reservations for our clubs at Ritz-Carlton hotels. Keep in mind that we typically also get 20% discounts off the published rate at Wyndham brand hotels. Once you've found the hotel you want, complete a payment request form on IM Leagues. We'll cover where to find that form in just a minute. On the form, include the hotel name and address, the check-in date, the number of rooms, the types of rooms, are they 2 double beds, is it 1 king, is it a suite, and your checkout date. You will then get a reservation confirmation email from the club sports office. Also, most rooms are not prepaid. Mason does not allow our office to fax or email credit card information, so you'll need to pick up a credit card authorization form from the club sports office before your departure. This way, the full cost of your hotel room and tax will be charged directly to your club's account, and it saves you and your members from having to be reimbursed. If your club wants to reserve a rental vehicle for an off-campus event, the best option is to use Mason's contract with Enterprise. To book the rental vehicle, submit a payment request form on IM Leagues with the pickup and drop-off location. If you're leaving from campus, just say campus. The pickup date, the number of vehicles you need, the types of vehicles you need, are they minivans, SUVs, or just regular cars, and the drop-off date. The Mason contract with Enterprise can be used for all travel within the United States, but is not valid for travel to Canada. The contract has a set flat rate with unlimited miles and insurance included. Any student, employee, or coach who has completed the volunteer MOU and is at least 21 years of age may drive the rental vehicle. No one else may drive the vehicle. Only Mason students, employees, and coaches who have completed the volunteer MOU may ride in the vehicle. Family members and students from other institutions cannot get in the vehicle with you as they are not covered by our insurance.
As of August 2016, 2 new policies apply to the rental of vehicles using university funds. All drivers must now complete a motor vehicle report and a driver safety training. The motor vehicle report is a driving record check completed by Mason's Risk Management Office. The form to authorize this driving record check can be found on the Club Sports website. The driver safety training is conducted by Mason's Risk Management Office. To sign up for a course, use a link on the Club Sports website. Both requirements must be completed by every individual driving a university-owned or rented vehicle. If while using a vehicle rented using university funds, your club violates a toll, your club must pay for the violated toll and the fine using non-university funds. That is, funds that are not in your university operating account. The best idea is have the driver who violated the toll pay for it out of their own pocket. The payment must be made by cash or check and be made to the GMU cashier's office. A receipt must then be submitted to the Club Sports office showing that the payment has been made. The club will be suspended from operations until the toll and the fine are repaid.
If your club is traveling by plane or train, submit a payment request form and email the Club Sports office with the departure dates for both the trip away and your trip back home, the airline flight numbers or the Amtrak train numbers, the arrival and departure airports or stations, the full names as they appear on photo ID, and the birthdays of each club member traveling with you, and the corresponding flights or trains that they are taking.
Let's go over a payment request form for travel. So from your home page, click on Forms, click on Payment Request Form from the list,
In the form, first enter the name, so this is the vendor you're using, so Hampton Inn at Radford, the address of the hotel, tax ID number for any hotel, rental car, or airline. We're going to be paying them for credit cards, so you can skip the tax ID number. Contact person, so if you know the hotel manager's name, put that in here, but at very minimum, please put the hotel number and their website. Request title, so this would be hotel for away game at Radford. Date needed would be the check-in date. Description, check-in date, check-out date. Also need to include number of rooms we're getting and the types of rooms. So rooms with 2 double beds, a king room, a suite, etc. For renting vehicles and using this form, on here put in the date and time we're picking up the car, date and time we're returning the car, and then the type of vehicle we're renting. So is it just a regular sedan? Do you need vans? How many of each? Purchase type, typically this would just be hotel for away game at Radford, something like that. How much you expect to pay, your club's name, your org number, and right here put your name as a requester and your phone number in case we need to contact you if any questions. Then submit the form for review based on the club that you're a part of. If you need to submit a new form, just go back, re-enter the information, and submit it again. Every time you submit it, it saves a copy on our end that we can view.
Please remember, the Club Sports Office will not reimburse club members for any lodging, rental vehicle, or plane train ticket expenses. Do not book any of these items on your own. Only have the Club Sports Office make the reservation for you by filling out a payment request form. Clubs are eligible to have gas for rental vehicles and personal vehicles for long trips reimbursed. More on that will be covered in Module 3. While traveling, clubs may be reimbursed for team meals if paid for by one individual. You must provide the original, detailed receipt, not the credit card receipt, and you cannot purchase any alcohol. Due to the amount of paperwork required for these types of reimbursement, individual meals will not be reimbursed. We're now moving on to some policies that affect you while you're out on your trip. Number 1. If while traveling, your plans change from the ones you originally submitted on your travel request form. For example, you qualified for the finals of the tournament and you need to stay an extra day, or you're staying at a different hotel. You must notify the Club Sports Office by email or by calling the Assistant Director's cell phone immediately. If while traveling, any emergencies or incidents occur in which professional medical attention or police service is required, notify the Club Sports Office immediately by calling the Assistant Director's cell phone. If he doesn't answer, call the Assistant Director of Competitive Sports. You have both of these numbers in your emergency contact sheet, which is located in your first aid kit. Examples of emergencies and incidents include, but are not limited to, club members transported by an ambulance, club members treated by a doctor, club members are arrested by the police, your club is kicked out of your hotel, or one of your vehicles is involved in an accident. If anything like this happens, call us immediately so we can help you through the situation. Most club travel occurs by car, so let's talk about some policies that affect driving any vehicle while on club business. Clubs cannot drive over 14 hours in any given 24-hour period. The majority of your driving has to happen during daylight hours. Clubs may not depart before 5 a.m. or plan to arrive at their final destination or back on campus after midnight. No driver may drive more than 4 hours without a 30-minute break. All drivers must be at least 18 years old. Club members traveling in vehicles owned by fellow club members are covered under their own insurance policies. George Mason's insurance does not cover the driver, the passengers, or the private vehicle. Vehicles may not be overloaded. There must be one seatbelt per person, and everyone must wear a seatbelt at all times. When towing a trailer or using a cargo rack, vehicle speeds must be reduced, especially if you're in heavy traffic. Check all lights and hitches prior to your departure. No alcoholic beverages are allowed in the vehicles at any time. All drivers must have refrained from drinking alcohol for at least 12 hours before the trip departure. You also need to have a first aid kit in each vehicle. As you can see, there are a lot of policies involved in order to drive a 10, 11, or 15 passenger van on any club trip. My honest recommendation here is do not rent any vans larger than a minivan. Minivans are cheaper under our enterprise contract and are a lot easier to drive. If you still do want to rent a large van, talk to the Club Sports Office about fulfilling the many requirements. A lot of our travel takes place during severe weather seasons, so if your club encounters dangerous travel conditions like severe thunderstorms, snowstorms, ice storms, while on the road, Immediately stop driving and evaluate the safety of continuing to travel. Call the Assistant Director of Club Sports for help in making this important decision. If the club deems it's unsafe to continue, call the Club Sports office and make arrangements for accommodations to wait out the storm. We'd rather you be safe than take the unnecessary risk of continuing to travel in order to save a few dollars over the cost of a hotel room. Okay, you're safely back on campus, but there's still some work to be done. Upon returning to campus, and after all competitions you do for that matter, the trip leader must complete a post-competition report through IM Leagues and submit it to the Club Sports office within 2 days. The club also needs to complete a club attendance log, as you do after every club event. Post-competition reports are submitted through IM Leagues, so from your homepage, click on Forms, go down to the post-competition report, your club's name, the event you went to. If it wasn't an event, it was just a regular season game, just type in regular season game. Location, dates, if there were multiple days, please put them in here. If it was a team sport, enter in each date and time of each game, who did you play, who won the game, and what the final score was. If it was a tournament, there's space for up to 6 games here. If there are more, you can enter it into the comment section down here. If it's an individual sport, such as running, you can write individual results here. So April came in 3rd place with a personal best time of 5 minutes in the mile race, and you could just type this in here. Then list if there were any injured players, any problems, any incidents, and submit the form for review. Something new this year is the Club Sports attendance log. So begin by going to clubsports.gmu.edu. On the page Forms and Documents, on here, Club Attendance Log. It's a Google form. Select your club name, so baseball, the date of your competition, so April 4th. We're on the outdoor fields. How many participants you had from Mason, so we had 15 of our guys out. How many total participants? This includes both teams, the coaches and the officials, so we had 40 people because it was a game, and we had 100 spectators out for a game. And then if there are any injuries, include yes or no for that. Submit, and you're good to go. Reason we're doing this, we're trying to show the institution how many individuals are taking part in all our club sports activities and how busy our fields are in an effort to justify building new facilities. So we'd appreciate your help throughout this year, after every practice, after every game, after every event, on and off campus. Just complete your club sports attendance log. It takes 20 seconds. Congrats, you've completed Part A. Please complete the Part A quiz and move on to Section B.